the problem with casual sex. We're going to chat about this and look at it from a few different angles. So let's first start off with the idea that what if there is nothing casual about you? Let's just ponder that for a moment. What if that's true? And I want to look at this through the lens of throughout our lifetime. Think of a newborn baby. Is there anything casual about a newborn baby? A child, a teen, adult, older adult? Do we suddenly change at any point in time and suddenly not become casual? I think it's good to remember back when we are little babes, how precious we are. That preciousness never goes away. That's truly who we are. Yes, experiences happen, but experiences happen. They're not who we are. So that's the element that's important to reflect upon here as we move forward. Who you are. And I'm going to use the word sacred. How sacred is a baby or a child? And when do we suddenly not become sacred as adults? My belief is we're sacred always. Again, there's a distinction between behavior, choices we make, experiences, choices others make, and who we are. Let's entertain for a moment that what if you are sacred, thus the act of sex is sacred. Let's just play with this for a time as I describe more in detail. What if our energetic/spiritual, emotional, and physical health all affect each other? What if that's really true? And then what if we made them matter to us and to the other person? I know they matter from my own experience, but also from the experience of coaching people. People have a really hard time with the consequences of treating sex casually. They think they can and they try. But I've comforted many, many souls who tried to do that and it didn't work for them. I'm certainly not dismissing this need and this want and this desire for affection and to have that experience. But I will say that when it's done casually, sex is so temporary. The good feeling is so temporary that what I had experienced in my past and what I'm finding with people that I'm coaching is that there's regret and there's emotional pain because there's so many more variables involved than we'd really like to admit. So let's look at some of those variables. I hope you have an open mind today. Explore. First, I want to introduce you to your body's chakra system. This is your body's energy centers. Okay, and so the way the chakra system works is it believes that we have energy centers. You may have heard people talk about going to get some energy healing because sometimes those centers get blocked. We want our energy centers to flow. So there's something more to us than meets the eye. You might think this is rubbish. Okay, that's fine, but maybe just pay attention for a bit and let's see if there's any truth that might resonate for you. Now, the chakra system is divided into two areas. You've got the heart in the center, and from the heart up is your spiritual chakra centers. Right here, and right here. And then down below the heart, is your body, the physical aspect of you. So there's a physical aspect, and there is a spiritual aspect of you. And I love how in the center is green, and that's where the heart is. And I believe the heart bridges the two. Now for optimum well-being is all of you, not just one part of you. To be in balance, you want all your energy centers flowing and activated. And so you're living in a way to honor your entire well-being. All of your energy centers are activated and flowing. Now let's talk about below the heart, your physical aspect of you, the body part of you. So this is when we say that sex is only casual. We're trying to make it only a body type of experience where only our bodies are involved. And this part of you is important because your lower chakras help you to live, sustain life, survive. But let's stop for a moment and think if we only invested our energy into the lower aspect of us. That's it. Just the lower aspect. Focused all of our energies there. Kind of didn't really think about this part. Look at society. Look at, unfortunately, it seems to be celebrities, people very wealthy oftentimes. They are trying to satiate themselves with only the lower aspect. More things, that's the lower aspect. More bodily experiences, more sex, more drugs, all of that. That's all body experiences. So when we only focus on that area of ourselves, we're missing this whole area. There's so much more to life to create meaning than just satiating your lower physical aspects of yourself. Okay? And then if we try to just diminish ourselves to only this aspect of ourselves, that is a complete disservice to you. And you are living in imbalance. Now, if the universe is out of balance, if the earth is out of balance at all and on its axis, and all the things that create balance for nature to survive, we know that that's really important for nature to survive. We're nature, and yet we're walking around completely unbalanced, completely focusing only on this lower half. What if I told you if you started focusing on this area, the lower half of you would be less important than the emphasis that you put on it? You would shift. You would not need that casual sex to sustain you and fulfill some sort of need and desire that you think that you must satiate. That's something to think about, isn't it? Interesting. What if you looked at life through this lens that I'm presenting to you today? That maybe you want to activate your lower chakras and your higher chakras. Have them all going, flowing. I can almost promise you that your life would suddenly feel much more fulfilling, satisfying, meaningful, enjoyable. You would experience more peace. But let's go back to down here. Drug addictions. This is where all your addictions are. All the emphasis down here. So let's put sex in that category. Look at society. Do we overemphasize sex, vanity, how you look on the outside? That's all down here. That's why I'm choosing to age gracefully, because I have my upper chakras activated and I have enjoyment of life to such a degree. I don't want to chase after, put myself in out of balance to chase after my youth. I already had my youth. Maybe it's the youth's turn to have their youth. And I get to live life with my wisdom. Maybe you can appreciate me for who I am more at this age than for how I look on the outside or what I can bring to you physically. Maybe you appreciate me more, all of me, at this age. And that's how I'm choosing to live and do life, because I want to activate all my chakras. I want to live in my highest expression. I want to have joy right now. If I live with a thought that I'm not good enough right now, I wish I looked like I did when I was 10 years younger, that takes away some of my joy. Food for thought. Let's move on. So the fact of the matter is that we matter. At every stage of life, we matter. That's why I really want you to look at all the images there. We matter. and so does the other. So when we go back and we think about the chakras, think about the other person that you're casually engaging with as well. Do they matter? Does their energetic activation matter? Are you treating them with the honor and respect that they deserve as another soul? Things to think about. What if we made more efforts to honor ourselves and others? What if we honored our own and others' energy, spirit, and their emotional and physical well-being? What if we made those efforts? What if you chose to treat sex as sacred? Just a thought. For me, sacred means with love. And love requires conscious intention to self and others, to participate with another who feels the same and wants to do the same. I'm going to share this crazy story of when I was single and at a time when I was not honoring all my chakras and I was putting too much emphasis down here and I didn't believe I had enough. So I was trying to fill myself up with only the lower chakra, and we'll say in the sex area. So I was having casual sex with someone that I had met that night, and I really liked their personality. They were fun. We're having a great time talking to him. And we were having sex. Again, stranger, but you know how the talk is, hookup culture. We were having a good time. I could have totally followed the rhetoric of, I deserve it. It feels good. And we're both consenting adults, all of that. Well, literally in the middle of just beginning to have sex, he stops, runs out of the bedroom, and hops in the shower and says nothing to me. Nothing. I'm laying there like, okay, this is interesting. When he finally comes back, and he wasn't even going to tell me anything. Clearly, we're not on the different wavelength, and go back to what I just talked about before about caring about self and others. There was no explanation. So finally I asked him, what's going on? And he goes, oh, well, basically he's been experimenting with his, I'm going to call it climax. I don't know if I get taken off of YouTube for saying certain words. And he's been trying not to climax while engaging in, didn't bother to tell me. So then I felt like a science experiment, his science experiment. I know it seems like a strange story, but that's how weird it can be out there. This is not the strangest of stories I've heard. I've heard many others and I've experienced others. I didn't like how that felt. I kind of felt like I was being used for a science experiment, and I wouldn't want to have sex with someone who would just run out of the room like that, not explain himself. To me, it felt very egocentric. To him, he might have thought, well, we're consenting adults. Gets confused and crazy very quickly. So I asked the question again. Where are you? And where is the other? Energetically and spiritually. How about emotionally? How about physically? I know lots of women who experience lots of problems down there. Lots of things can go awry down there. Not to mention STDs. And then, of course, emotionally. That messed me up for a bit. Now, the beautiful thing is, every experience can be seen as an opportunity. So that experience I had moved me in the direction to recognize who I am as being sacred and recognize the sacredness of sex and to not treat it so casually. So I celebrate the experience. See how we can do this and not make anyone wrong. Today is a new day. And yes, I have compassion for you. Sex feels great. It feels even better when it's done in a way to honor everyone and when we see it and ourselves as sacred. The person that you want to have sex with, do you both care about balance? Your whole being? All energy centers in your chakra system activated? Do you both care about that? It'd be nice to know, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to be on the same page. I just barely touched on the emotional aspect and the physical aspect, but I think I'm making my point clear. I've talked to enough people, you know you're out there, who have been felt like they were emotionally scarred from sexual experiences. I mean, let's face it, many of us come from being molested or abused in some way as children. There's that too. Holy cow. That's really not treating sex in a sacred manner. And to think we can just come to the table and treat it casually with another stranger. We're diminishing who we are and what we're all about. I'd rather be in the fullness of who I am and to experience this sacred act with another person. Oh, the places you can go when you're in that frame. It's really quite incredible. The depth, especially, in partnership, after having navigated trials and difficulties and learning how to be your best you with that partner, and then coming to the bedroom after having done some heart work with your partner. Wow. Amazing lovemaking. That's sacred. It's incredible. So, food for thought. Get all your chakras activated. If you're finding you're emphasizing too much below your heart, hit me up. I can help you activate up here, create some balance. I'd love to. All right, thank you so much.